Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramona Chapman, and I am a Capacity Development Specialist here at the Department of Housing and Community Development. I'm so glad that you all have made it to the Governor's Housing Conference and that you've chosen to participate in this very exciting, what I think will be an exciting presentation. Um, I want to welcome you to the Brushworks, a collaborative arts employment pilot program. I've got Miss Diane Hodling here with us today, and she's going to tell you about a great workforce development program that's really innovative, and I would love to see it around the state. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hodling right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramona. Um, Perhaps in your program, it says that there are three of us, and clearly there's one of us. My colleagues, Pam Shine and Aaron Walker, were not able to be with us today, and they get a lion's share of the credit. I just drew the short straw to make the presentation today. So happy to be here and delighted to present this really innovative program. It was a privilege for me as volunteer and community engagement coordinator for the Department of Housing, Neighborhood Preservation in the City of Virginia Beach to work with the participants in this program throughout this, what would be 10-day program that we offered. So I want to share with you a little bit about how we developed Brushworks, about the process of identifying the people who were going to participate in the program with us, some outcomes from the program, and then I'm going to close with the best 8 minutes of your life. There was a fabulous documentary that was done of this program, and we're going to show that at the end. It encapsulates everything, and it will be the presentation that will enable us to continue this pilot program in other communities and other places in Virginia Beach. So I need to know my audience. How many of you work in homeless services? By hands? Okay, thank you. And with the title, a collaborative arts employment pilot program, of those words, who was attracted by the word collaborative? Anybody? Okay. Who was attracted by the word employment to come to this session? Okay, good. Now I know who I'm talking to. Thank you. So necessity is the mother of invention. Erin thought this was rather apropos. Erin is our resource development manager for the Department of Housing and Homeless Services Division, and she was tasked with something that has nothing to do with this program, and out of that came this program. So she thought this was important for us to put in here. So I'm going to walk you through this program from the beginning. We had a employment goal from the time we opened our Housing Resource Center in the city of Virginia Beach to develop a workforce program for individuals experiencing homelessness. So that's a goal that sits over here. And then we realized we had a shortage of storage in our building, and that goal sat over here, and we had to meet both of those goals. So Erin, being the very creative person that she is, sat down with our director, Ruth Hill, who is here, to say, you know, we need to address these things. And so they approached the zoning department because Erin had this brilliant idea that she had some resources of folks who had storage containers, those very large storage containers that you see on the ships out in the sea now. And she thought, well, what can't we use those for storage? Wouldn't it be great to have those out in the parking lot? And so they approached planning and said, can we do this? And planning said, well, only if it's an artwork, if it's a piece of art in your parking lot, could you do this? Well, that was an interesting answer. And so Erin got to move on from there to decide, well, what can that look like for us? And so this is where the collaboration part comes in. We have these shipping containers that we would like to have in the parking lot for storage. We have a need to have a workforce program on our site. The only way this can be an art program is to work with our Cultural Affairs Office for the City of Virginia Beach, the leader of whom had some experience with an employment program, working with muralists who were unemployed and or underemployed or experiencing homelessness. And so she said, well, this is a great opportunity for us. Virginia Beach has just blossomed as a place for public art. And we had these blank canvases in these storage containers. And so why don't we hire individuals from your community who are experiencing homelessness and invite them to be part of a mural team and create art on these storage containers. Well, that blew up. It became such a wonderful idea, and we then needed funding for this project. And VB Home Now, Erin is our liaison to VB Home Now. It is a foundation that supports the work of homeless services in the city of Virginia Beach, and they agreed to fund it both with the purchase of the storage containers, as well as stipends for the individuals who would be employed to be on the mural crew to participate in this project. So the project was born, and then it took off. Great project. Like our work in homeless services in our communities, projects like this take a village. It takes all kinds of people participating to make this thing work. And so in addition to the Cultural Affairs Department, VB Home Now Foundation participated. There is an artists network called Contemporary Arts Network out of Newport News, and they are an organization that works with individuals who are artists, who are part of this network, who this network now finds work for them in communities throughout so they can be working artists. And so they identified for us an artist who would be perfect with the population that we serve. And so Nad Harvin was identified as the artist. She is a self-taught artist, and it was fabulous with our team of folks. So from the very beginning, she was involved and met with the manager of homeless services, Pam Shine, to talk about what it means to work with individuals experiencing homelessness on a daily basis, and talk to her about trauma-informed care and how to work with individuals in this environment. And she was fabulous from the beginning. And so she was part of designing the program. She was to identify with the individuals who were selected to be employed to design this mural. And really, she did a fabulous job allowing them to design it. And so she led them through their process. She's a teacher as well, and so it worked out really well for her to convey some transferable skills to the individuals that we hired. So they took off. And so we developed a working timeline where we had an information session. At the Housing Resource Center, we have a shelter for 57 adult men and women. We have a family shelter for up to 40 individuals and families. We have an apartment complex attached to the building that houses 29 individuals there. And so we had this audience that we could pull from and make available this opportunity to. And so we had an info session on July 26th, and we had 16 people from that population join us for that session. Out of that, we got 4 applications, and people, they turned them in on time. And so we proceeded to identify for them a schedule that included mock interviews with our Employment Services Department out of the Human Services Department, so that they could have the full employment experience. They filled out the application. They provided a little sample of their ability to do art. They participated in the mock interviews, and then they had an orientation about the safety of working on these containers and about painting, and they met the artist, and they had an opportunity to learn a little bit about it. Out of the interviews, we selected 3 of the 4 participants to be part of the crew. Our aim was 3 to 5, so we felt pretty good with 3. And then they sat down and developed the design. And that was the most fascinating part of this whole project, because here are these individuals. Of the folks we selected, we had 2 who were living in the apartments. One had been there for going on 2 years since we had opened, and then the other one was a recent person who was in the apartment about 9 months or so. And then the third person was in shelter. And so she was living in the emergency shelter at the building. So they sat down to do this design, and it was just a fascinating process how it unfolded and how the team gelled and became a part of a community at our center that maybe was an undercurrent before. When they started this project, they really got to know each other. They got to know the staff. They got to be part of something bigger than themselves. And it really showed in their behavior, the behavior of the people who were at the building watching this thing unfold, and the staff certainly. So August 31st, September 15th, we installed the project. And they worked for 4 hours a day, each day, doing the installation. And then we had a ribbon cutting on the 22nd of September. So that's kind of the timeline for this particular project. Just a little bit about the process so you can get a sense of what this is all about. We identified what skills we were looking for in people, what skills they should bring to this. Mural crew members should be interested in learning about how to create public art. Interested candidates will be connected to employment resources at the HRC, in that now they have this connection to the employment folks there to pursue their particular employment goals. They will work with this lead artist. They will receive a stipend for the duties that they performed, and they would get to showcase their talents and skills in this particular project. Their time commitment, as I said, was 4 hours for 10 days. They were compensated $50 a day for 4 hours a day, 4 hours of work a day, and they were paid by Visa gift card at the end of the project, and they could use it however they wanted with no strings attached. I will happily report that one paid his rent with it, so that was exciting. He was very excited that he earned that money and could pay his rent. Boy, this is sensitive. There we go. Working conditions, qualifications. This was an interesting piece to put together for them so that as in their employment life, they would know that there are things that they needed to possess in order to pursue a job. And for us, composition skills, painting skills, schedule management, team coordination, interpersonal skills, all had to do with installing a mural and things in the art world. And so it resonated with them. They were excited. And when we were done, though it wasn't a part of the initial plan, I worked with the artists to create job recommendations for them, a letter that they could take with them after this that pulled from this list of skills. And so they could directly say that I have this skill and I did this project. It was important that they know the physical working conditions that they were going to be in. We did this end of August, beginning of September. It was hot. We had a couple of 90-degree days, and they're standing and they're painting and they're hopping up and down off ladders. And so it was important that they understood that that was part of what was going on. The environmental conditions, the sensory requirements. And above all, for every one of them, and the apartment residents, it still applied to them, for those selected, working towards your housing plan must remain your top priority. We did not have them sign in blood that they would be there every day. We just trusted as we went through this process that if they signed on, they would come. And I had the delight, really, of kind of being the HR person for them and enabling them to have my phone number that they could call me if they could not make it that morning. One gentleman had a couple of doctor's appointments that he had forgotten about, and so he had to call in, and he did. It's always nice when folks follow through, and we know with our homeless population, sometimes that just doesn't happen because life is not the same for folks in that group as it is for some of us. And so it was delightful that happened that way. And that they all really contributed. They had a deadline by which to complete the application, and funny that the three that were selected finished the application on the day of the presentation of the orientation. They were that excited about it. So they met all the deadlines and everything worked out really well. The fun part was the design, and this is just such a cool thing to me. NAD, of course, modern artists, has their tablet, and they could write on the tablet as the participants were telling what they wanted on this container. She was doing it on her tablet, and so it was like in real time they could see it evolving, and that, I think, was part of the excitement for them and what kept them involved in this project, because their ideas, their thoughts, their experiences were going to be on this mural. And what they decided to do, we asked them to use the theme Community of One. It is our strategic plan for the city of Virginia Beach to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. And as I said at the beginning, it takes all of us to do that. So we are a community of one. And that resonated with them. But for them, what they wanted on this container to show the community of one is all of the resources that were available to them on their journey. So each of these items up here symbolize somewhere that they have been on their journey. We took a field trip one day because the artist was not familiar with Virginia Beach. And she said, well, let's just go look. And they took pictures, and I got to be the driver. And we drove around Virginia Beach to the places that they had been on their journey from the woods to the oceanfront. The first picture is one of our participants looking out at the ocean from the benches along Virginia Beach. The next one, the lighthouse, is where we had our day support services for years and years and years, and they resonated with that. The starfish represents our community of one. The starfish story, I saved that one, of all the starfish that are on the beach, and that's what's most important, one at a time. The teal colored building is a day support center down at the ocean front. The gazebo represents Judeo-Christian Outreach Center, where many of them were housed for years. Pin Ministry is the pin. The bus, the number 20 bus, was really, really important to one of our participants. We had to have a picture of the bus up here. The encampments here down at the lower left, the hands that are coming across represent our outreach teams who go out and meet with folks who are street homeless and create relationships and bring them to services. And then in the end, nobody is home until everyone's home. And so it was really pretty exciting, and they really get excited to tell the story about how this evolved. So this is our crew. The artist on the left, 3 of our participants, and the individual in the shirt, the orange shirt, is a volunteer, and I'll talk about Kim here in a minute. She was a very integral part of the process. And this is the ribbon cutting. We had to do a virtual ribbon cutting for COVID, and you will see all of that unfold in the video. So volunteer engagement was a big piece in that we knew that from a staff perspective, I couldn't devote all 10 days of my life to that project, although I did give a significant amount of time because it was so much fun. But we had a volunteer who was a former PATH worker for the city of Virginia Beach. She retired 2 years ago, and she is a working artist herself. And so it was a no-brainer to call her and say, would you be interested in walking with us on this journey? And the importance of that is that individuals experiencing homelessness or who have experienced homelessness, having this liaison who fully understands trauma-informed care and can help translate or to navigate difficult situations that might occur on the job site was really important. Well, we didn't have any of that. And it turned out to be just the most fun because Kim didn't have to do any of that. She just got to actually pick up a paintbrush and enjoy conversation with our friends and work with the other working artists, which is really fun for her. And so volunteer engagement, we had a volunteer, one of our providers was on the interview panel. We had volunteers who had come out and prime the containers. Mural crew facilitation was all of what Kim did. And then the encouragement was, my part was to be there as a safety net and to lift people up and to give them somebody who recognized their wonderful work. This particular job description was created really kind of after the event because Kim's role was really that important. Interfacing with the artists to provide understanding and training of homelessness. So she got to work with NAD, understanding the folks she was working with, participate in the interview panel, provide orientation of program expectations to hire participants, provide ongoing support and communication to the artists, et cetera, et cetera. So we envision this as a paid position should this go forward, that the volunteer, really would be a staff member on the mural crew. And so I hope that really does come to pass. So the power of partnerships, these are all the organizations that participated with us in this endeavor. Again, Erin is the master of resources, and so she was able to engage Town Bank, Ferguson, for Imprint, IKEA, Domino's, with VB Home Now, and the departments in the city to make this work. I would add to that the city council. Without their approval of this effort, we would not have done it, and their support throughout the project. Service providers interacting and encouraging folks to participate and sign up with applications, and human services and employment services all were wonderful partners. IKEA gave us the shelving for inside the containers, and they sent out a volunteer crew to install it, which was wonderful. And our next step for our containers is on Saturday, we're doing a Pack the Box event. And so we're doing a donation drive for the winter months, and folks will come to the building and we will pack those boxes and begin to utilize them for what they were intended to be. But they stand on our property at the Housing Resource Center as really a testament to what can be done and how folks can be engaged and involved and move along in their own lives. Of the 3 participants, one got a job at Jimmy John's riding her bike and doing delivery services right after this, so she was that pumped about it. She was trying to figure out, she had never sketched anything in her life, and so she realized she had this talent, and the artist, of course, stoked that and helped her to see that she had this talent. And so now she's looking and talking to Jimmy John's about, writing on their sandwich boards, is, putting her talent out there in some way. Another participant has a particular interest in a certain type of art, and he wants to make homelessness T-shirts. And so he's looking at trying to figure out how to make that work. So it's kind of neat that they begin to see themselves in a different light after this experience. And really, in the end, I think that $600 that they received was a bonus. I think everything else really worked for them more than that $600. So, Robert, would you play the video, please? Enjoy.
Brushworks is a workforce development program where we are creating the opportunity for professional public artists to get training in working with communities and individuals that are experiencing homelessness and are looking for ways to explore possible career options or new skills that can be applied to future jobs.
The brushwork employment process is divided in about 4 phases. The pre-employment phase will consist of an info session where the artist NAD will be a part of that info session. We will describe the concept. We will talk about the investment of time that will be required, and we will talk about some expectations surrounding the project. They will go through mock interviews. We will conduct the interviews, select the best candidate, and then the 3rd phase of that is the orientation or the onboarding phase. And then they will collaborate with the local artists to formulate the design for the project and then implementation.
I was introduced to Brushworks through the Contemporary Artist Network. They were looking for an artist that would be compatible, and given my background working with these kind of projects, Brushworks just seemed like the perfect project.
The vision is really driven by the team. It tells the story of folks experiencing homelessness here at the beach. It's a traveling piece. It starts down at the beachfront from folks having to find refuge on the beach, all the way down to all the spots that they recognize in their walk of daily life, and then comes down to the second container to a bit more hopeful with folks reaching back.
We will target this project to those that are living in the building. For example, those who are in shelter and those who are staying here permanently in their own apartments. This will help them to add this experience to their resume so they can explore further employment opportunities.
I feel very important right now because it's not like we just got called here just to do painting. We got called here to tell our story, and our story is going down on those containers.
We're going to show the community that we have help here, if they need it. We're going to depict it on this painting so that people that don't understand can try to get a visualized picture of what it is and what they go through.
They do their part, you do your part, and we come together, finish up the job. And you stand back, you look at it, okay, cool. Well, let it dry, and what's next? It's kind of awesome.
I think it's important for employers to know that persons who are experiencing homelessness, they have talents, they have skill sets, and they just want an opportunity to be able to display those talents and skill sets.
Artwork can be inspiring, it can be comforting, it can be a signal that we're all in this together and that there's hope. And one thing that is so beautiful about this program is that not only can it be that moment for the community here, but also for community members to learn to create that themselves and express themselves through art.
We started off as strangers. Now we work around each other very well. It's Scully's the vibes man. He comes with a new playlist every morning. Tasha, she's like always down to help. She's probably the hardest worker we got out here. And Ray's got that expert skill, and he's like, cut it like this. It feels really good just to be a part of it, you know, just to witness it, that change daily, honestly. It's really good to see.
Hi, I'm Councilman Michael Berlucci, and I'm so happy to be here with you to help celebrate the opening and dedication of Brushworks. About 3 years ago, we were standing in this very site to celebrate the opening of the Housing Resource Center, which is a unique, innovative facility in Virginia Beach that's dedicated to ending homelessness in our city. And I'm so happy to be with you today to celebrate the dedication of this creative project, which pairs professional artists, muralists, with members of our community who are experiencing homelessness in an effort to convey skills and encourage creative expression. One of the best ways that we can learn about each other, understand each other, and to connect as a community and as neighbors is through the arts and creative expression, and that's on full display here. So I hope that you'll come by, check it out, and I hope you'll now join us as we celebrate the opening of this incredible installation by cutting the ribbon. Okay, everybody's ready? 3, 2, 1, cut! Yeah!
Here, I can't believe it's the final day, and I'm just so pleased and excited with what the team has come up with. They went from never even sketching before, a few of them, to completing a mural, taking charge, taking it out of my hands, telling their story, and just leading the charge with the design. And it's been an honor to be here and just watch them and witness and be a part of what they've decided is their story. And now they're all trained muralists, and I'm extremely proud. Specifically Scully, each day he went from not, you know, having as much control with the brush to finishing the whole house and doing details and adding flowers. Tasha went from, I'm not sure which color, to let's do this bird like this, let's add these details, let's do it this color. And Raymond, probably, who had the most experience out of everyone, showing the team what to do, taking charge on certain design aspects. And it's just been really nice to work with folks I thought I'd have to do so much with, and they did so much for me, and I'm just pleased. And Brushworks has been an amazing experience.
And that is Brushworks. I want to thank our now retired Director of Housing, Andy Friedman, for suggesting that we present today, and our now new Director of Housing, Ruth Hill, for shepherding this project from the beginning to the end. So thank you for allowing me to be part of it. Questions?
You ever wondered what actors and actresses do when they have to get in shape really fast for a movie? Because I can promise you,
that was not part of the presentation. Any questions?
I had a couple of questions that were sent to me when they read. I previewed your video.
Yes.
And so I had a couple of questions, but I think you answered them. Beautiful video.
Thank you. They did a good job.
Yeah, they did a fine job. Good work. Well, I have a question. That any of the artists become entrepreneurs and started their own painting business, business painting murals?
That's the hope, that when they duplicate this elsewhere in Virginia Beach, that they reach back to the artists who participated to participate in the next project, and maybe serve as mentors to other folks. And to date, I've not heard any of the three say that they want to be have their own painting company. Two of them, interestingly, were residential painters, and so they had that on their resume in the past. And like I said, the one gentleman wants to make T-shirts, and that's a form of art, right? He's going to do screen printing. And then the other one just can't figure out where to put her art that she newly discovered she could do. So.
did beautiful work.
I will let them know you said that.
Yes. I had a question. Will Brushworks offer your artistic services to other communities, urban and rural?
This is a model, so feel free to take it and run with it for sure. And the folks in the Cultural Affairs Office, I'm sure, would be delighted to work with you and share with you the background piece of that that makes that kind of thing happen. And certainly we would be happy to mentor any community that wants to take this and run with it for sure. It's too good to keep to ourselves.
Really beautify the whole state.
Yeah.
More. I also had a question. In addition to funding, what other ways that your partners play a role in your project?
Well, Aaron was kind enough to send with me the budget, and so I can tell you. VB Home Now is a foundation, and so they were able to work with other organizations, businesses that wanted to support this particular project. So Ferguson provided us with enough funding to get solar lighting, fencing, ramps, solar fans to outfit the containers. So it was more the prep for the containers that we needed funding. VB Home Now collects money, receives funding all year long, and so their purpose is to support the individuals we serve. And so when we went to them to ask for funding for the stipends for the participants, that was an easy thing for them to do, and they were happy to do that. IKEA has been a partner on a number of other projects with us, and so when it came again to appointing the containers, they were there for us, and that was great. We did logoed items on T-shirts and hats for the participants, and so Imprint Services had a grant out there that enabled us to use that. And Erin, like I said, is a master at resources, and so she was able to put all of those things together and match that up for what our needs were.
That's a great example of the whole community coming together to support a project that in the long run will help many people.
Yeah.
See how you have that theme, community on one.
Yes, ma'am.
That's very appropriate. Also, did Brushworks, did you have the trailers donated, or did you have to purchase those shipping containers?
Ruthie, I believe we purchased those.
Okay. And thank you for sharing that.
Veterans Home Loans. Mm-hmm.
Veterans United.
Yeah.
Well, any other questions?
Thank you for having us.
I want to thank you all. Yes. Grace, yeah, I have it. Okay. Ms. Diane.
Yes.
I want to thank you so much for coming to the Governor's Housing Conference and sharing your story. This is a memento, just to express our appreciation. And we hope that you will come back and tell us about your story next year. And after this pilot program, what comes out of it? Yes. New program. Yes. Okay. So thank you. Yeah, bring a T-shirt. Yeah. Young man makes. Okay. That would be great, right? That would be awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. I'm glad you made it to the Governor's Housing Conference safely. I hope you will enjoy the rest of the conference. Those of you who would like to have the gamification code, it is M as in Mary, K as in Kelly, G as in good, 1, 2, 2, 3, C as in cat. And I'm happy to repeat that. M as in Mary, K as in Kelly, G as in good, the number 1, 2, 2, 3, and C as in cat. And I hope you all are here for the next couple of days and will participate in our receptions and be here to see our keynote speaker. And this ends our session. I want to thank Brushworks again for this wonderful presentation. And I'm jealous, Virginia Beach. I need that in Louisa County. So But thank you all. It's good to see all of you, and I want to thank Grace, my Q&A monitor, and please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. I also want to thank my IT person, Robert Satchel.